You got the leprosy shirt, dude. You got the sick shit. I'm not wearing my fucking band shit today, man.
I mean, you've got enough representation.
I've got enough representation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole next to the altar is a huge stack of not a huge stack, like a bunch of CDs. And
Brave New World. That's like the first Maiden record I really listened to.
Really, I was gonna switch that out with my other CDs in my car. I have
just to have them on display.
Yeah, I just have them on display. I don't know where to put it. I don't have a lot of space. Like, there's 2 shoe boxes under that couch of just more CDs and shit like that. Like, I used to live with a compulsive hoarder, and I didn't have a lot of space to begin with.
I get that.
And it's kind of like turned me into like somewhat of a minimalist. Like, there's things you need.
Sure.
You need counters. You need tables and chairs and shit.
Right.
You know, but I ideally, like, one day I want to have a studio, and that way I can have, like, my general living space be, like, just fucking bare bones. I don't fucking want shit. I just want my metal posters, and
yeah,
that's it. I don't want stuff.
I admire that a lot.
What the death shirt? I want the story behind how you got into death.
Forgive me, we're recording.
Yeah, we're rolling. We've been rolling.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool.
We've been rolling. It's all a hang. There's no like, this week's guest, and here's the introduction to the show. Oh, fuck. Like, it's none of that. Like, I actually... Yeah, but it's less work for me. I have to do it all by myself. Whereas if I had a team, I'd be like, everything has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into death?
I love death, dude. So, let me try to remember the specific... A lot of my, like, metal origins... come down to the System of a Down MySpace fan page.
Yep. That checks out.
Yeah, because System of a Down was, like, probably the first, like, metal. There's debate as to whether they're a metal band. They certainly have elements of metal.
Yeah.
Others call them hard rock. Others call them alternative metal. I call them great.
It's why I have the facial hair.
Really? The Shavo?
This is why.
Is it Shavo or Shavo?
Shavo, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like some? Okay, fine. I'll just have a few for myself then. So the System of a Down MySpace
page.
Yeah.
I would lurk on there. I was a very timid internet goer, and so I would lurk on there. Rarely post. The few times I posted, I always somehow like got embarrassed. Like literally, like there was like a whole like forum for like, what's the last song you listened to or something, or like rate the last person's song on their MySpace page.
So many choices.
And it was ever rotating, but one time I had a Lamb of God song on there, and so it was like it was Beating on Death's Door, which is the closing track on Sacrament.
Sacrament, yeah, that's a good one.
Killer song.
God,
I love
that one.
The little drum fill solo, whatever you want to
call
it.
Oh yeah, it's fucking excellent. Chris Adler's one of my favorites.
He's unbelievable.
One of my favorites.
He's not with them anymore, is he?
Nope. I think he got in like a car accident or something. I think he got in some kind of accident where he can't. He doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the same like
his like signature like
his signature double bass tab. Yeah, that like he can't do that as well. And plus, like they're getting older now, and
sure, I get that. Well, the work he's put out will speak on its own for ages to come. Mm-hmm. I had that song as my MySpace thing. And
your profile song, oh my god.
Oh, you know it, brother, yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to the Dating Yourself show. The dating yourself. So I post on the page, and like immediately one of like the guys that posted a lot on there, I think his name was Brennan, I remember it so much, I remember everything about him, dude. Was just like 0 out of 10, Lamb of God sucks, and I was like,
oh, boo.
What? And so, like, I didn't consider that there's, like, bad metal.
Yeah,
I was just, like, drinking it all in. I loved it all so much. Right out of the gate, I was like, oh my god, this is great. And plus, I had one of my best friends in high school really got into Lamb of God, and he and I would listen to him. And so, I started just, like, lurking and looking for recommendations on that page. It's how I discovered my favorite band of all time, Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian's great, yeah, they're good.
And Death would come up a lot, so I learned about Decapitated as well, seriously.
Right. Well, it's called death metal because of death.
That's right, that's what I tell people, dude.
It's pretty much that, yeah.
Yeah, man, if they had called themselves Horse, it'd be
horse metal, yeah. It would be, well, that was kind of the first band that did the Cookie Monster kind of style.
Dude.
There was, like, notes of it in other bands, like Iron Maiden would definitely kind of, like, have long, screaming, parts, but it wasn't like, it didn't sound like a literal demon.
Sure.
Bruce Dickinson sounds, he's more upstairs. I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna destroy the audience's ears
Sure.
for that. But like that lower tone that like people just started like being on board with that, and now everybody's fucking doing it. And
It's a thing of beauty, man. I love it.
It's death metal.
Yeah, so I forget. I think I started listening to Human just because Lack of Comprehension is pretty approachable.
I love
as
that
a single,
one.
and that whole album's great.
Yeah.
And this is a common theme in my life where, like, something comes into my life, and initially I play with it a little bit, but it doesn't stick. Mm-hmm. And then the second time that thing comes into my life, it's there to stay. It happens with sweaters. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll buy a sweater and wear it and be like, not right now. And then, like, 2 years later, its true purpose will reveal itself, I say. And it's like,
correct.
I'll start wearing it, or my girlfriend will need a sweater and I'll give it to her, and now she lives in that sweater or something.
Yeah.
You know, you never know its true purpose, but that's a whole other tangent, technically. I put on Leprosy. And that album really stuck.
Yes.
Like Leprosy, Born Dead,
Pull the plug. Yes.
I mean,
there's Evil Dead. That's on the first one. That's on the first one. That's not on that's on Leprosy. Oh,
insane,
man.
though. They played, when I saw Death to All, the tribute / cover band, they played Evil Dead.
They played Evil Dead, yeah.
Dude, I was amazed because they also played, one of my favorite tracks is Bite the Pain.
Bite the Pain. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
And I was so surprised they didn't play Scavenger, but they did play Bite the Pain, and I was like weird, but I was there for it.
What do you think of their Judas Priest cover of Painkiller?
That's the only time I had heard that song before.
Oh, you hadn't heard Judas Priest Painkiller before hearing that one?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, that switches it for you. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I heard it, and I didn't recognize it when I eventually heard Judas Priest's Painkiller, which is my favorite Judas Priest song. It's what launched me. I have a bit about it. I think I shared it with you already, how that's...
What, you at Flappers?
No, I didn't do it at Flappers, but this is actually the first joke I ever wrote, or joke. Technically, a joke is like, you walked into a bar and you said, oh.
I see, yeah.
The first joke I wrote that was, like, getting laughs was about how I discovered Judas Priest. I'll just do the bit for you if you're okay with that.
For sure, yeah.
Sorry, gang. I don't do it anymore. So.
Sorry, airplane that just fucking flew over.
Yeah, well, that one's a little over my head.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Nice.
Anyway, so I start by saying that I'm like watching porn on YouTube because I like tamer porn. I don't like outright stuff. My taste has evolved since then, but at the time, bear with me. I just like wearing I like wearing just like underwear ladies and whatever, and that's all on YouTube for free. And what happens, a lot of people will upload like a picture slideshow with the song going over it.
Yeah.
And I pull up one video just because the thumbnail caught my fancy, and a fucking ripping drum solo busts out of nowhere, and I'm laying in bed. I'm like, "What's this now?" And then the fucking and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm
they're fucking to that.
No, it's a picture slideshow, so it's just a lady on the beach,
all right.
a lady next to a car.
Oh, I see.
A lady in her living room.
Yeah.
Fast off that bullet.
That's great.
And I'm like legit jamming out in bed, like fucking listening to the song, and then the video ends, and I'm like, oh, I never jacked off, did I? I forgot to jack off.
Because the song was so good, you forgot to jack off.
And so I literally went to Best Buy and went and got like their version of the best of Judas Priest.
Oh man, oh that's great.
Yeah.
Earlier, a couple minutes ago, you talked about how that hater was like talking shit about Lamb of God and how like they suck. And
sure.
Like, what do you think of like the kind of like elitism behavior that kind of happens in metal culture? Kind of happens in stand-up a little bit.
Oh, undeniably, yeah.
Like someone's like opinion on what's the best flavor. Per se.
Yeah, there's gatekeeping in like the weirdest way. Maybe I've just grown out of it. Because...
It's like, that's post-metal core. That's not this. It's that. Like trying to like. They think you're wrong in your categorization of what type of metal.
If you're super wrong, that's a different story. If you're way off, then it's kind of like some big argument that's that type of metal. But if you're in the ballpark, then I'm like,
right?
Do you like it? Then like what you like.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to defend what you like because you're like. It's like, well, it's actually fucking pirate metal, but it's more thrash forward. It's pirate theming.
Thrash forward. I know Ailstorm, right? Yeah, thrash forward with pirate themes. Oh, this one is the Cookie Monster vocals. There's a lot more breeze in this one. There's there's a lot more breeze. So I would put it under this or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
stuff
and
like
those
that.
like nerds.
Yeah,
I
stuff
just
like
want to
that.
enjoy it.
That's what it all boils down to. It's just like, do you like it? Then like it. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like, in helping other people find it, maybe you should be able to categorize it somewhere.
Yeah.
But to be like a gatekeeper or defensive and be like, well, that's not, you're not even close by Tom that thrash. And I'm just like, the boom bap drums speak volumes.
I have a dichotomy with Hatebreed because I like Hatebreed, but I don't like Hatebreed fans, and that makes me like hate Hatebreed. It's weird, isn't it? Is that weird?
No, you're totally right.
I like that band, but like it's just the people that are associated with them take a very like politically extreme kind of measure, I feel like, and it kind of puts that happened to Iced Earth when the guitar player raided the fucking Capitol. And it was sad. And my brother was like, "That's the guitar player for Iced Earth."
Front and center, like
just
it's
right there.
unmistakable.
He's right there. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's just some other bearded white dude. Like, there's no way, And then like the next day that after my brother had pointed that out, they were like, "Oh, guitarist for Iced Earth, whatever his name is, it skips my mind."
John Schaefer.
Yeah, and he's out of the band. And I'm like, it was him. I'm like, oh, that's just...
It's unbelievable,
It's a stint in us. Like, we used to get a bad rep before. You know, people think like, oh, we worship Satan, we sacrifice cats, or, you know... Fucking Columbine shooters like Marilyn Manson was like taking heat for that for some reason. Because they just liked dark shit. Yeah, and that was another one for me. I was just, I hate being lumped into that camp. And yeah, people stare, but I don't give a shit.
Enjoy the show, bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm living my truth.
People fucking stare. I always find myself like really astounded with the dudes that go so far as like putting the gauges in their ears. And I'm like, that's badass. I don't have the balls for that.
It rules. I love that stuff. Sometimes like when it causes like a gut feeling in me of like, not disgust, but kind of an uneasiness of like, like it hurts. Or like, I like just picture it getting caught on a doorknob or something.
Or like with a master lock pad.
Or something. And I like it. It's like when you see someone get kicked in the nuts, you're just like,
Oh yeah, I saw a Hard Times article. Do you follow them?
I don't.
The Hard Times.
I see a couple of highlights every once in a while.
They're like kind of the punk version of The Onion, sort of. And there was like one of their fake articles was like, "Oh, concert fan goer too short to see the whole show, but can see through like the hole of like that guy, of the guy's gauge, who's like 6'4". Exactly. Oh, it's so fun.
Yo, that's a funny like have it out, but have it be like a telescope lens so that people can look through your ear and look at space.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And you have a little bit of something there too.
Yeah. These are 00 gauge. I think it is. People get grossed out when I take it out to show them, but it's
well, I mean, you have to like clean it and shit right there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have to,
half the people at home can see
I knew someone. I don't talk to her anymore, but she had hers like so like stretched out where when she didn't have them in, she would just put it over her whole ear. So then it doesn't look like it's
option.
So it's not like she's sort of like one of those droopy dogs.
Yeah.
You know, she'll
like
just put it, like a basset hound. She'll just like put it over so it's not like in the way, or like at her job or something.
That's genius because that's part of what I was touching on earlier is like when I see it and it makes me like, how do they live with it when they don't have it in? It's like that actually makes sense that they just like.
The one that freaks me out is the nose one.
Those are weird because you can like see inside their fucking head.
It's Oh god. There's people that take it to such extremes. We're like, okay, it's not really like just the aesthetic anymore. Like we've gone far. Yeah, we've went from like, oh, Motorhead got introduced to my life when I was 12, and then it just led up to like all this fucking extreme shit. And like the facial hair is as far as I'll go.
Oh sure.
This is easy, Yeah. This is very easy. Like I'm kind of thinking about putting like some rings through there.
That'd be sick.
I'd want to hit up there's a website called Grimfrost that does like kind of like Viking jewelry, and they have like braids and shit where I could like stick one or two things there.
Yeah, you'd clean up at the Ren Fair, dude. At the Renaissance Fair.
Dude, I fucking love that shit.
You do
I
that?
love that shit. No, I haven't been in such a long time, but I love that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you just need like a robe kind of, and you're
I would spend I would go broke. I would go broke. I would spend so much. It'd be like a concert for me. Like, you have to buy the shirt. You have to buy, like, more fucking merch. And I was drinking before I was going to a lot of shows. So, like, you had to spend all this fucking money. And the thing with Ren Fairs is, like, there's a lot of drinking involved.
Oh, sure.
There's, like, the ales and the big fucking growlers of shit.
Yeah, mead.
Yeah, all that, and I fear that, it's not going to ruin my time if I were to go to one again, but it takes me back to those days where I would just get blacked out and fucked up. I'll just bring some pot,
That works too, man.
I'll just do weed. Like, it's springtime now, so there's going to be one coming around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
There's going to be one that I could just pull up to and do some, like, souvenir shopping, catch a jousting match or something.
All casual stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about it like going to the mall for that.
I love it.
Yeah, go to Annie's, get a pretzel, we watch a movie. It's just like, go to the Ren Fair, maybe get some...
Have you been to any?
I've gone to the Ren Fair on a few occasions, sorry.
What, you sneezing, coughing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Recovering, yeah.
Yeah, my nose is a little... Do you actually mind... Do you have like a napkin or...
I have... on my nose, and like it would just get all over the flavor saver and all that.
Dude, that's what's so annoying about facial hair for me as well.
Yeah, you gotta clean. You gotta make sure it's all.
And like sometimes with the very back end, it like catches like one of these all the way down here. And I'm like, dude.
Part of the reason why I even tie mine up is just because it gets so like it gets so sporadic.
Oh, I believe it.
And I'm a face toucher. And I'm always fidgeting or whatever. So if I felt the urge to itch right at the chin, it feels so great when you take this all out and you take a shower and you just run your fingers through there and you're like, oh man. Especially when somebody else does it.
Have another paper towel actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
You're joking.
That was a joke because I was alluding that I just jizzed myself.
Oh. Got it. Clear. All great. Clear. Yeah, dude. I was talking to another comic about like how like we had to edit like sections out
because you guys were talking bad.
We were just talking bad about somebody, and I was like, and she goes like, we can't put that out. I'm like, you can trust me. It's a simple trim. It's not even a thing. Another guest was like disclosing information about a job that didn't happen yet, and so I can just like I could bleep. I can put little sensors across the mouth whenever, like if I say cunt, and this is the Instagram clip for the episode. That's not going to work. I have to like bleep that out, or like the captions. I think will do it for you. In the thing,
okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Do you fuck with a lot of that? There's like pressure on comics to like put up reels and all this.
Yeah, I keep telling myself like I have a camera. I've got like a small tripod that I bring, and I'll record my sets. But I either just like am not pleased with what I did.
Oh yeah.
Or I just like forget. Or like the show or the open mic I wrote. Forgive me. Is the bar like.
The bar music,
the music is so loud that you almost can't make out what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's really rough, especially when the goal is to get footage. Yeah. And I mean you can just take that thing with you everywhere you go, and you never know when there's that little gold nugget,
a little something.
And it's just you can't even just be funny anymore. You can't just be happy with that. Oh, I had a good set. I have that information with me. No, it has to go out.
Yeah, there's got to be proof.
Even if it's like a joke that I've been telling for the past like 3 months, and this was the night that it killed.
Sure.
And people that already follow me and pay attention, they're like, "Oh, I've seen him do that live," but I am nobody, and I do not get 30,000 fucking downloads or whatever. But this is a chance for comics to just actually hang out outside of a mic or a show.
Love it.
Because there's so much other shit going on, and we are all narcissists, and we're all literally chasing our own shit, and it's nothing personal. We're just thinking about us, number one, ourselves.
That's true.
And comics don't have a lot of time to actually get to know each other off stage. Like, I'm going to do a 420 special with James Demon. And,
oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. You've seen James Demon, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he does that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have him on. But he's, I've talked to him plenty of times when he's not in character. And not that it, like, wows me or whatever, because I've always seen him on stage for the most part. Actually sitting down and talking to him is, like, another, like, eye-opening thing. Like, oh, we get to know James human. Rather than the demon, And I'm glad that because we were backlogging our schedules and all that. I'm like, okay, we can shoot on the 19th, and I'll rush that episode for the 20th, and it'll just be like all the puns, all the fucking puns.
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be a fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, it'll be something. Unless he flakes, I don't know.
We have a show that my co-host and I do with the open mic I run once a month. Mm-hmm. We've started doing like a show, not an open mic with book comics. Our next one happens to be on 420.
This is Bare Knuckles?
Correct.
Yeah.
Bare Knuckles.
Oh.
Right after him. Mm-hmm. One of the two shows I run. I have another show that I do, but right now I'm talking about this one because it's relevant.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did another podcast recently where I spent like the entire time talking about Bare Knuckles, and then my co-producer for the other show messaged me. He's like, "Hey, listen to your podcast. You know you run two shows, right?"
Oh my god! Did it come out in time? Like, did it? Because when the time comes for to promote it and do all this stuff of you talking about it on the show.
Oh sure.
Did it come out in time for you to get the word out and all that stuff?
It would have if I talked about it at all.
Oh my god, that's so fucked.
Yeah, I didn't consider it because Blaze Sanchez.
Yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah,
he and I were specifically talking about open mics, and so I was talking about the open mic I run. And anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way so that I don't forget to also plug my other show.
Well, that's why that's another big reason why you're here, bro. You're you're already on my show coming up in June. I put your name down.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
It's gonna be a metal themed show, and I did a metal themed show with you a couple of Bare Knuckles ago.
Yeah, it was
that was a fun time. I didn't have the metal jokes in my Rolodex. And
there's no pressure.
I wanted to do a couple, but it's not always there. Sometimes even when I walk up,
man. I didn't do my metal jokes either. I've got plenty of them, but I just did.
Yeah, you walk up with a plan, and you're like, "Fuck the plan."
Yeah, and it's just funny enough just to see metal-looking dudes not doing metal material.
Right? Yeah.
I go up, I'm like, I have a cat. His name's Dwayne. He's my best friend. Meanwhile, I'm wearing the most gory.
That's pretty metal, though. Is it a black cat?
No, he's Gray tabby.
Gray tabby? Yeah, I mean, it's a cat. I mean, the funny thing about metalheads... the funny thing about metalheads is that our outlook, our exterior just seems so, oh my god, this person's angry all the time, and they're gonna murder children or whatever the fuck. But we're teddy bears. We like cute little animals too.
You know, buddy.
Yeah, little cute dogs. Oh, dude, my boss has a fucking chug, a pug chihuahua. It is fucking small, and it's got the face of a pug, and it just makes me do but I look like this. So it's
it's in there, dude.
Yeah. I love that shit, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Your show, you put on. You have the disadvantage of the bar music, but if you didn't have that, it's a great room. You have a lot of space, and for the show, do they accommodate with you for the using I don't know because it has that whole upstairs area, and that's kind of because I've only been there once. Would there be a way to finagle a stage area? Because there is a wide, there's I don't know, are those pool tables? I'm trying to remember
downstairs?
Yeah, I'm trying to fucking paint the picture in my head because I barely remember it, even though it was only a little while ago.
You're suggesting that we move the show downstairs
if they would let you, because then you could get the full attention of people who aren't there for a show,
I suppose.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like having it upstairs and separate. I put a bunch of signage out. I go downstairs. I touch tables.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's the downside to some bar shows is some people didn't come here to go to a comedy show. They came here for a pint.
Right, yeah. You get people who are
it's they're just drinking, and then suddenly you get the doom doom ding. All right, guys, it's gonna be comedy night. How you doing over there? All right, hey, can you guys shut the fuck up over there? We're trying to do a comedy show.
I wanted to hang out with my friends.
I'm trying to catch up with my long lost sister over here.
Yeah. Dude. I see where you're coming from. You don't want to interrupt other people's lives who are outside of the fishbowl of your universe and all that.
Yeah, but it gets rowdy enough up there just because we're funny. All of us are funny that we get plenty of real people that
people
clamber on up.
What's going on up there? I want to enjoy what they're having. They're laughing and we're not laughing down here. What the fuck?
Dude, lots of dates that are obviously early on of people that just went and they're just that's a thing to do on the date. You want to go to the show?
Yeah. Let's sit in the front row and have the comic talk about how our date is going.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, like, couples that go on dates to just drink craft beer are pretty cute, man. Pretty adorable, man. I gotta be honest, man.
Yeah. Man, if I wasn't doing comedy, I don't know, I'd be some loser. Like, I don't know, just getting fucking wasted somewhere. Trying to, like, find ladies or whatever. But, like, this is... I have, like, such a fucking deep commitment to the creative stuff now where, like, fuck, I don't have time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't have time for relationships, and God forbid I fuck another comic, and it's like, oh, then that becomes like a whole other mixture of.
That's a death sentence.
Oof, I mean, it's a fine line, you know. Your girl's not a comic, but she helps you with like other stuff. She does like art shit.
Absolutely, yeah. She has her own creative outlets, and she is funny. I don't want to like be like you can't have a relationship where both people are funny. Like she's quite hilarious.
Yeah, if there's like another funny person who doesn't do comedy that does like a different creative thing, like that would be. Like dope.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate, and it's funny. Like she's the funniest person in her like friend groups, respectively. And so it's funny when I come through and I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny. It's just in my nature, I guess. I don't know. And plus, you know, defense mechanisms, and I'm like, I need these people to like me. Hurry, quick.
Right.
And so like I'm just leveling all of these fucking Super Bowl parties or whatever the fuck they bring me to.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting there like trying to get jokes into, and I'm like, shut up. Anyway, so I'm cramming the fucking football in my ass, right? And I'm over here, and and all of her freaking cousins are like, oh my god.
And they're like, oh, when are you gonna do a show? And then you do that show, and they finally come through, and it's like nothing what you said to them when you were hanging out with them previously. It's like, oh, it's your actual jokes now. Like you're not just fucking like riffing and funny in the hang, you know? That's like such a crazy uncanny ability that I'm trying to master, and it's so fucking hard. It's just being funny in the hang and bringing that to the stage.
We all have our strengths.
Where it's so like, I mean, it's so hard because once you know joke structure and you know like, okay, the comic's talking, they're having a rhythm, and there it is. You like expect it, but if it's just off the cuff,
the math of jokes kind of sometimes gets in the way of just being organic.
Yeah, it's.
I feel that, dude.
I fucking use my bits in conversation too much. It's a fucking huge problem. Like, it's so consumed my life so much to a degree where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try out my jokes in life. What am I doing, man?
I try to preface it if I'm going to, like, test out a bit on real people or I'm like, so this is actually a bit I do, but I'll just tell you because it's relevant. And then I do it, and then, like, the context is important.
Yeah.
Of the live situation, because there are jokes where I tell and I go up, and like the appropriate response is a pause for laughter, and they do it, and then I'll tell the joke, and rather than a pause, they'll just be like, "Oh, you know what? I've actually been to that Trader Joe's, and when I was there, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "You weren't supposed to say anything."
Right? It's like, hey,
joke's over.
I'm holding the microphone. It's always like a drunk guy, like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, this isn't a conversation. I just told you a joke, so laugh at it, please.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? No, but, okay, yeah, it was funny. But anyway, they're tikka masala, so...
I was like, dude, you're at a show. I don't know where, like, because I came up in theater, and I've done, like, film stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Where do these people get off? The disrespect of, like, the heckle stuff. And people post up clips of them getting heckled, and they handle it, and, like, it's great. But now, like, people who watch that stuff a lot think, oh, this is my turn to try and give this comic something, like, really good.
Maybe.
Sometimes they think they're helping. And it's like, dude, you wouldn't do that in a movie theater.
True.
You wouldn't do this at, like, a live, like a ballet, you know?
I actually just came up with a theory, like, earlier today because I found myself doing it. I think there's definitely an element of jealousy, which isn't new information. Like, a lot of comics have been like, oh, it's because they think they're the funny ones, so they want to say shit.
Right, yeah.
I think there are times where the person in the crowd, like, wishes they were doing what you're doing, and so they try to, like... I equate it in my own life to the... Have you ever been, like... on Instagram, for example, and you see one of your friends, like, posts a reel, and it's doing really well, it's got, like, thousands and thousands of likes and plays and stuff, and you're just like, I could double tap it, too.
or I could be a petty bitch.
And you just don't. It's just like, I'm not doing it because I don't like it, and I don't want to support my friend. There's just like a tinge of jealousy. That's just like, flip that for me.
Yeah, it's a really challenging thing because I have it too. I try to get over that.
You gotta slap yourself and just be like, no, we're in this together. We're friends. We're supportive. This was funny. Boop, boop.
I get mad at the ones where I post like a remix of something that's not related to my stand-up at all. And it blows up, and then I do my shit, and it's nothing. I'm like, okay.
But that's part of what I think is happening when people are in a crowd and they like start heckling. Is just like, not that they're trying to sabotage, because not liking someone's real. I wouldn't call that sabotage, but it's definitely making the choice to not let this be as big as it can be.
Right.
Out of jealousy, and so maybe they're just like. Again, this is just a theory, but they're just like, I'm not gonna laugh at this guy's jokes. It wasn't that funny, but it's like, no, it's funny. You can laugh, and your instinct was to laugh. Just let yourself have fun.
Right, exactly.
Support someone doing what they're
doing. Well, that's why they do the 2-drink minimum.
Loosen them up. Those laughers.
And for someone that doesn't drink it, I'm like, oh man, like you gotta, like I really hope. First of all, I'm not gonna be sitting in the front. I'm gonna be sitting like way in the back because I will smell a reek of pot.
Nice.
And I'm terrible. I'm actually like a really bad audience member at Mike's because I need to hang in the back because I have an uncontrollable because laughter is it's an unprovoked feeling that happens, and the thing that gets me the most is when a joke bombs and I'm laughing at the suffering.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't want to laugh. I don't want my audible laughter to be like, oh, I'm laughing because like it bombed. That comic might think, oh, one person, thank you. Where, like, I'm not thinking that at all. You know?
I had an involuntary, like, laughing at the cringe moment.
Yeah.
Recently, where this dude, he was doing a character, and, like, the character, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose, but it was implied that the character was, like, special needs or whatever the word is. And he's doing, like, I guess you can call them one-liner jokes.
Sure.
And they're bombing. And, like, one of the jokes is, like, oh... Why do you think the fish was good at the piano? Because they got scales. And then there's a pause, and then he's like, so I bought a gun the other day. And
my God.
I was like... And it wasn't intentional. The joke, the way they set up their set wasn't intentionally, I'm going to do this corny joke, and then a joke about a gun. He just was, like, going down the list of jokes he wrote.
Yeah.
And that was the next one. And, like, I saw that, I recognized it, and I was like... I mean, I'm the only one in the whole. It was the Flappers bar.
Oh God!
I'm like, I'm rolling. I'm like doing this in my chair. I'm like, and everyone's like looking at me, and like he's still too new to like call out obvious stuff, and so he's like,
right.
So I bought a gun the other day.
Like
he just continues just trying to barrel through it.
Yeah.
And I'm truly like head in my shoulder, just
you're losing it, dying.
I'm like, dude, and it's like. I don't want him to know that I'm laughing at the fact that he sucks.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be that guy either.
But it's kind of like, well, I ain't laughing because it was a good joke, buddy.
Yeah, just the reaction alone is enough for someone who you said he was green at it. He was like kind of new.
Clearly.
At it, okay, but to do that to someone, because we were there too.
Was it important information for me to mention that it's that? He seemed like the character was special needs.
He seemed like he was special needs, or the character was.
The character.
Okay. What? So he was like normal.
Was that important context? Would that have been equally as funny if I didn't mention that?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm starting to feel guilt for it.
No, I don't feel guilt for it. Like if he's doing like a shtick, then and it's not working. Like I'm laughing that it's not working.
All right.
You know, like I laugh at really kind of fucked up. I mean, carbon dating. I'm the Adult Swim era, like the kind of like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like, what the fuck is this?
You kidding me? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, like the fucking, the robot chickens, the Squidbillies, and like that type of humor is just so, like, it's just not typical, it's unorthodox.
Sure.
And that shit makes me laugh because the other shit is just so familiar to me. Where I'm just like, oh, like I know it's a comedy and like I get how and why it's funny, but it's not causing the reaction.
Right.
You know, just the weird shit just makes me laugh so fucking hard, and I mean, Robot Chicken was kind of like, I don't know, maybe it brought on the adult onset ADHD because of the style of that show.
Maybe,
it's just so like next thing, next thing, next thing. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't have my brain be in that motion. Because I constantly I need to slow the fuck down a lot.
Oh, sure.
When I'm up on stage. I don't know if you noticed that before, but I am just like, I don't know how to use my energy.
Sure.
You know, I gotta like...
You're mindful of it. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I enjoy your comedy.
Thank you.
I like the, would you call it manic energy?
Manic energy? Yeah. I love doing it.
It fits you? I don't know.
It fit, well, because I could just fucking turn it on. I could just turn it on, and people think like, oh, he's a crazy person.
Sure.
But I'm actually like, I'm somewhat mild-mannered. Like, I'm very... because when I smoke, like, I would smoke before a set, and I would still be able to, like, turn that on. And be like, guys, I'm really fucking high right now. And they're like, on what? Oh, good lord. Like, how, like, what are you doing?
Hey, this is you.
Yeah, and I'm, like, a nervous, like, scab picker, too. So I've got, like, I've got, like, face cigars and shit because I fucking pick at stuff. And, I'm just a nervous person in general. And, like, having that energy and also, like, not looking my best is, like, on. But it could also hurt me in the hang because people are like, oh fuck, he might be nuts. He might be nuts, and I'm like, I'm not.
Sure.
But it's there. It's a part of me.
Oh yeah, it's a tool to be yielded and used and utilized.
Yeah, it's always the craftsman, never the tools.
I wanted to. We went on a couple of tangents there, so I'm trying to backtrack a little bit.
A lot.
But one that I at least don't apologize. I'm having a fucking awesome time, dude. This is fun.
For sure.
This is part of what's something that has to be like navigated when it comes to like hanging for the first time. This isn't our first time hanging out, but it's the first time like where there's not something else. Something else is going on.
Yeah, you're in my home.
Yeah.
And there's been people that have gone like, oh, I want to come on, and I'm flattered.
Sure,
I'm very flattered, but also some of those same people, I'm like,
I want you to know.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of how and where I live. It's the other person. I'm like, do I trust this person to like be in my space? If that chair wasn't there, that's where like I just started playing the Zelda game again, so like that's where some of my space is occupied. But that's my altar. Like I do my affirmations with that, and I do my spiritual juju shit. So you're sitting in like a really like kind of sacred area.
I'm on it.
And there's like and there's people that I definitely want on, but I'm way too sheepish to ask.
Sure, I get that. Yeah.
People that are older than me, people have been doing it longer, and like people that I think are like pretty attractive, but like I'm not going to overstep that boundary. But it's like, oh my god, you're in my house. Like, I have to like fight that like male brain urge.
Sure.
It goes away.
You gotta be mindful of that stuff, man.
Yeah,
and like recognize that it's just like okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm human and they're human, we can just be in a space together. Or inversely, like, okay, I don't like the energy this person brings, and so I need to respect myself in my space to not have them in there.
Yeah, and there's a dude that, like, I'm, like, on the fence of having on, but, like, there's just, like, he kind of, like, he does, like, there's some domestic violence that I've heard about with him before, and it's, like, not a good look, and I'm, like, thinking we're still cordial, we're still friends, but I'm, like, I don't want this person in my house. Because I found out about like some bullshit, some bullshit that he did, and it has nothing to do with me at all. I'm not gonna like not be his friend, but I'm like, it's gonna be hard to like not bring that up.
Sure.
In my own mind, and I have like shit with my family that's done like way worse shit, and like their blood, but I've distanced myself greatly because of that. I'm like, oh, QAnon people, like, all right. Like, I love you, your blood, but, like, you think some crazy shit, and I don't want to be a part of it. It's like, oh, God. What do you do?
That's dangerous stuff.
What do you do? Yeah, it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. Forgive me, I'm totally fucking high right now. And are you? You're not?
No, I don't really indulge. That stuff doesn't really agree with me. But it brings
doesn't
me
agree
back.
with you? Okay.
It doesn't really agree with me. I get really bad anxiety, and I've toyed around with other like strains and hybrids and things like that. Because my girlfriend's really into it. She smokes and eats and whatever, however she can get her hands on it.
You had a couple hits of the pen last time I hung out with you.
Yeah, and like the vibe felt right. It never even actually kicked in. I ended up not even really feeling it.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, if I like when I try to do the math, I'm like 1 out of every 3 times I indulge, I have an incredibly good time. I have a great time. But, like, rolling the dice, and it's just, like, I end up having a bad time more often than a good time, and it's kind of like, I try, and it's just like, you know, I don't feel like putting in the work, finding the right cocktail that's going to get me into a good space.
Right.
It feels a little too random, and I'm sure I could take the time to do it, but I don't want to have 3 or 4 bad trips before I figure out how much is too much for a good trip.
The stoner culture aficionado would always say, "Oh, you just haven't had the right one yet, bro." Like, sometimes it freaks people out. Like, sometimes it really, like, it can open a door to, like, some dark shit.
Yeah.
If you've got, like, something that's, you know, up, like, that's with the psychedelics, you have to be in, like, a good frame of mind to do that stuff. Because if you're not, you're gonna have a bad time, you know.
Yeah, buckle up, dude.
And you definitely don't want to, like, go on a trip and feel like fucking garbage, you know. You definitely don't want that. Have you experimented with, like, mushrooms or acid or anything like that?
No, I haven't touched that stuff at all.
Yeah,
not for a lack of fascination. Mm-hmm. I think I do intend to introduce that in my life at some point. I don't know if now's the time. I just, in my gut, kind of just don't feel like it's the right time.
Yeah. It's got to feel right for you, you know, if the holistic approach, you know, because there is, like, you know, I believe some sort of, like, you know, kind of brain reset medicinal value, whereas opposed to, like, oh, I do mushrooms every week. Oh, man. Your brain is pudding. Your brain is pudding. Like, I'll do that, like, on a quarterly basis just to go, like, okay, it's April now. 420's coming up.
Some spring cleaning.
We're gonna do something, you know, for that month, and then we're not gonna do it again for, like, maybe till end of summer, or when we come into, you know, I'll just keep it away, because before doing mushrooms, I had a really bad stint with depression. Really bad stint with it, and I was always, like, really fucking, like, down on myself, and it took that reset to go, oh, I don't need to feel that way. Oh, yeah. You know, the synapses were kind of, like, misfiring before,
sure,
but the mushroom trip was, like, an actual, like, oh, I kind of, like, balanced out.
All right.
And
hell yeah, man, I
want to do it again, because there's a little bit, like, I'm working hard, and I'm doing it because I'm avoiding the big sad. So I don't have, I keep myself busy, so I don't have to think about it.
I feel that.
And I have a little bit of, like, more time to rest, a little bit, and oh shit, I'm stuck with my thoughts. I'm sad now.
Yeah, that's the trap I get stuck in. Yeah, when I smoke, if I'm like, if I don't have enough forward momentum, I just get stuck in my own thoughts. And
it's called flooding. Flooding,
That's
yeah.
accurate.
Do you find yourself just kind of sitting down completely still and there's absolutely nothing going on? You're literally just doing nothing?
When I'm high?
When you're high,
yes.
Yeah. You're just checked out, dissociated.
Flooding is such an accurate term, because, like, it really does. It just kind of, like, I feel like I'm sinking into it, and I have to, like, no, hold on, stop, like, get back on top of it, and keep trying. But it's just like, you just feel like you're waiting on the bad thoughts, and then if it you just get in it. Because I've been able to avoid it on a few occasions, and that's how I was able to have a good high. It's just like, it started happening, and I was just like, shut up. Your girlfriend's right there. She doesn't care if you talk too much. Just talk to her. Just, like, keep treading water and keep having a good time. Right. Is that the term for when you're able to, like, kick your feet and stay afloat?
Treading water. I believe. I'm thinking of doggy paddling right now. Treading water is, like, more like you're not swimming, but you're more wading. You're kind of like waist deep. You're treading water.
Yeah,
I think that's what that means.
Whatever the term is, where your feet aren't touching the ground, but you're able to kick just fast enough to keep yourself afloat.
Yeah.
I forget the word. I thought it was.
You're floating. You're staying afloat.
Keep myself afloat.
Keep your head above water.
Well, I guess floating implies that you're not moving and you're just floating, versus like performing an action to actively keep yourself above the water.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing, man. It's a really tricky thing.
On 420 for my Bare Knuckles show, which we do every month, I think I'm going to smoke, because I think that will be enough going on that I won't get stuck in my thoughts. I'll be able to have fun, and also it'll be funny to be like, look at me, guys. Yeah, I'm high.
Well, I think everyone else will be too. So it'll be fine. You could legit just open with, "Hey, let's give it up for marijuana, everybody," and then everyone is on your side.
Just hope that the bar is playing Sweet Leaf.
Yeah. That's a good choice.
They play a lot of Sabbath. So.
I love it. I love Sabbath. I did a 420 show last year.
Nice.
And it ended up going horribly wrong because most of the comics booked on the show were so fucking high. They were just barbecued, like they weren't remembering their their stuff.
That's rough.
Where it's like, oh, I'm going to perform on 100 milligrams. No, you're not.
Please don't. Please don't do
the
that
fuck you
on
are.
my show, please.
Try it. Yeah, no, I mean, I smoked before, but there were other comics that were just like knees deep into like an edible or whatever they took, and a lot of people were just like, oh my god, I can't do jokes, and everybody else was really high too.
Yeah.
So everyone else was just kind of,
They're like,
like it wasn't a loud
dude.
like ha ha ha. It wasn't active. It was just it was really mellow.
That seems like it would be fun on paper, but in practice, it's kind of like, no, we're all just sleepy now.
Yeah, it sounds because you've done 420. Have you done 420 shows before, where it's like the poster is like weed and fucking like it's like come to the show, and it's just the fucking opposite of that.
Yeah, I kind of just have to like point it out, recognize it. I have enough weed jokes that I'm able to like stay relevant, but then for the most part, I just kind of move on and do my thing.
It's kind of almost a bullshit Hallmark holiday because like I smoke almost every day all the time, so like what's really the special occasion
I know, right?
with this? Like what's really the whole part of it?
That's funny.
It has to do with my the first showcase I ever booked at Flappers was on 420. And like a month before that, I saw Bert Kreischer walking out of a dispensary when I was like on my way there.
That's cool.
And like in hindsight of it, I'm like, that was a sign, bro. That was a sign. I was like, oh, I'm like, I manifested it, bro. Like it happened,
great.
Man. And I mean, at the time, I was kind of like, it's a coincidence. But now I'm like actually using like the power of manifestation. And
yeah, man, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe the universe like pushes you in the right direction. You just kind of gotta trust it, and it gives you signs here and there.
Yeah,
I believe in that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
You get I get like a sign, a subtle one, like every like 120 days or so, like every couple months, where it's like, oh, you should keep doing this. Like this is the right thing
Precisely.
to do. Yeah,
yes.
And it happens in the subtlest of ways, where I'm like, oh, this isn't even to be like hacky about it, but like I believe in the fucking like power of it. Some people give it a name, Jesus, God, Buddha, the devil, whoever the fuck. I don't give it a name. It's just the universe.
That's my choice.
Yeah, there's no name because then you associate with that name. If you give it a name, you get into a relationship with that and how you feel about what that thing is called.
Right.
I like apples. Apples are tasty, or I hate apples. Boo apple, or whatever the fuck it is, What the intention that you put on whatever it is going to give that back to you.
Love it.
And it's so kind of vague where it's like, how does it even work if it's so vague? If it's not specific? It's like, it's just a shapeless, I don't fucking know what it is, but like literally manifested the fucking, I am going to play at the Comedy Store. It's going to happen. And that button is sitting there, and I do my fucking affirmations, and god fucking damn it happened. And I was like, whoa.
Hell yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck? And what's going to happen the next 5 years down the road if I just keep trucking on? Who the fuck knows?
Truthfully, yeah.
But it's like, I was in a band once, didn't work out, and that was really fun. Have you ever been in a band too?
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you play?
Drums.
Drums? Ooh, I'm a bass player. Was a bass player. I'm not good now.
Same.
I'm trash
now. Ask me where my drum set is. It said Wise Music in Salinas, California in exchange for $300.
Oh my god.
Shout out Wise.
Mm-hmm. What kind of music?
We were a metal band, yeah.
Metal
at the time, the genty stuff was getting really popular.
Okay.
I was happy to just be in a band.
Yeah.
Because I think the music's still up on Facebook somewhere.
Oh, nice. I have Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation.
But it was really fun. I liked it, and being in a band and then doing stand up really cemented the idea that like I'm a little too particular with my creative outputs, that I don't love sharing it with others, because in the band I'd be like, I want to do this, I like this, and they'd be like, we'll take that into consideration, Andrew. Thank you for your contribution.
You're the drummer, we'll take your idea
and then like sometimes it would stick, and sometimes they'd be like, we actually decided that we want this, and it's just like, it was really frustrating, because I'm just like, it's like I'm willing to compromise, but you guys aren't compromising. You're just not doing the thing.
Can you do a completely different beat altogether? Like, they're like completely changing.
That low key happened. Like, we had a song every time we practiced it. We did it a certain way, and our friend produced it, and like he used a drum track just because we didn't have all those mics.
You didn't have all the pieces, or you didn't have all the mics. Okay,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, and like the way he mixed it, the drums were just like not what I played, but it sounded cool. And so my two bandmates were just like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "It's cool, but that's not how the song goes." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "That's not the song. That's not our song." And they're like, and I'm like, "Am I crazy? Is it crazy for me to think that I would like the song to be the song?"
Because it's not the one you're playing, you know. It's not.
Like
it's not you.
Yeah, and in my part's the only thing you change.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys not like me? Are we not friends?
I mean, imagine how Jason Newsted felt when they just turned the bass all the way down on Injustice for All.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in like one of the greatest heavy metal bands like ever. Fuck you. You know.
As long as that check clears.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, but it's like I don't get to have. I'm in Metallica too. No, you're not. You're the fill-in.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like how he was treated. And like trying to agree on something amongst like, 3 or 4 sweaty dudes that all want to have the same idea, it's really hard to pull that off.
Oh, yeah.
There has to be like, I mean, the type of people that you'd have to work with would have to be more of a kinship than just, coworkers or something like that. Like, you're in a band.
Yeah.
This is our baby. And
Absolutely.
we're super gay for our baby right now. And we gotta like make it work. And not everybody agrees. And we were in a band. I was in a band with my brother, and we were called the Dark Crusaders. And like that, it's just a name that stuck. None of us liked it. But it was like, this is what we're going with. Like, we're like, they were younger. I was the oldest. I was already in college, but my brother was like 15, 16, somewhere around there. And they had another bass player that like left. And my brother was like, hey, we have a show at the Whiskey. Can you like learn these 5 songs and learn 5 songs in 3 days?
Yeah. Also, if you have 13 friends that want to pay $25,
right? Exactly. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a band now. I'm just suddenly, oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
I'm down. Let's go. And I had like a few days to like learn these songs, and I felt like hot garbage.
Aw.
Yeah. I felt like shit the entire day because I was so like hypercritical of like.
Sure.
I hope I'm playing the song right. It's fucking bass.
Yeah, I don't want to be dismissive of the bass.
Yeah,
because
there's
a
a
beautiful
lot
tool, but yeah.
There's a lot of easy parts, that were doable at my.
Could have given you more than 5 days.
Yeah, at my skill level, but I pulled it off.
There you go.
Worked. It worked great, and everybody had a good time. But I was just like, I can't have a good time right now. I don't know these fucking songs. I barely fucking learned, and like I had to act like I was having fun, and like acting like you're having fun, and you're not. It's just.
Can't be done, man.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm about to tell jokes right now. And my mom's fucking telling me that we might have to put the dog down soon. I'm like, fuck, god damn it.
Nah, you can't go doing that, man. You gotta take a personal day on that.
Yeah, a personal day. Like, I was intending to go to one of the other Bare Knuckles mics. And my dog, he's 18. He's just so fucking old. And my mom's like, he didn't eat. I'm like, I need to come over now. Because that's my mom lives in Valley Village.
Okay, you grew up down here then?
Yeah, I grew up around here.
Okay,
I grew up. I grew up in Studio City. Lived in Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks, North Hollywood.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tarzana. Pandemic happened. I go and live in Oklahoma for a year and a half.
Oh, I remember that. Now you did mention that. Yeah.
And then it took a year and a half for things to like somewhat get back to normal. And then I was like, okay, I have $10,000 of unemployment. Let's go back.
Nice.
And I used like a chunk of it to like get the fuck out. It just got too crazy. I couldn't do it. Were you living here at the time?
Yeah. I moved down here in like 2013, give or take.
Okay, all right. You've been here a while then.
Yeah, and I was down here for the pandemic. I moved in with my lady the month before it kind of hit the fan.
Oh.
Yeah, we literally moved in together like February of 2020 or something.
Just before. Right before the end of the world. Yeah, that's kind of a mark. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And we made it through.
Yeah.
She's good. She's cool.
And you've been doing comedy before that, and
I had some momentum doing comedy before that. Mm-hmm. It comes in waves. I was inconsistent for several years, but I was building up some momentum, and then the pandemic obviously put a halt to that. But then, you do a lot of writing. I got really disciplined about making sure that like there's this club that I joined. They're based in Atlanta, but it's nationwide. It's called it's Joel Byers of the Hot Breath podcasting network.
Okay.
And they have a little club called the Right 10 Club, where every day everyone wakes up at the same time and there's a live stream and Joel's hosting it, and They pick a random word of the day, random word generator. Word pops up. Everyone silently writes a joke. They get 10 minutes to write a joke inspired that by the word, including the word, however you want to do it. And then the rest of the hour is basically showing and telling. You submit them and he reads them.
Yeah. Who wrote? How many of the same joke was written?
Oh, constantly.
Wow.
And I was guilty of it too. Don't get me wrong, but that's how you learn to like.
Yeah.
You know, it really was like a class where it's just like, okay, so here's what I would do. It's just like you want the punchline to be at the end of the joke. And also, you know, this is a very surface level joke here. No offense, it's funny. But next time you're writing a joke, use the whole 10 minutes. Try to think of something past this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it was really good feedback, like, to everybody, not just me. You know, I was
right, yeah. Well, that was kind of, and it was easy too because it was in remote. It was in the house. It's not like, oh, you're spending fucking $300 at like some fucking shit venue, and your teacher's a guy who toured 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, are you doing it now? Like, come on.
And, you know, it's like you have the knowledge. It's practicing it.
Yeah.
And so every day I woke up. They're based in Atlanta, which is East Coast, and I was here in California, so it was 10 a.m. for them. It was like 6 or 7 a.m. for me. So I'm half asleep. I've got my espresso. I'm drinking it. I'm writing fart jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
Did that for many, many months, up to like, I think I did it for about a year. Yeah, every morning just waking up doing it. I won joke of the day on a few occasions, which was nice. Because that was the big prize: is you get your joke posted on a meme on the main page.
Your joke becomes a meme on the page.
It's not like a picture. They call it a meme just because they're all a bunch of fucking 40-year-old grandmas.
All right, I understand.
But it's like, yeah, they make an image and they put your joke on.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
You know, everybody celebrates like, "Hey, good job, buddy! You did it. You got joke of the day." I got it at least once. I think. Maybe
that's nice. That's really nice. I was really proud of you when you got set of the night at Mrs. Robinson's
baby Sunday punchline every Sunday.
Yeah, you're in the loop now. So because when you get like kind of like what feels like an accolade.
Yeah.
You know. It feels good for other, you know, people who put on good shows in the community to feel good. Like, absolutely. I pay my comics, you know, it's $20, but like I don't have to. I want to.
Yeah.
You know, and when game recognizes game, you reward that. And it makes others work harder and build to that. Sunday Punchline made me work harder as a comic. And I love rooms like that.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love that shit, and there definitely needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's I feel like that LA is like sort of half community, half clique. Then there's like factions of like, oh, you see posters of the same people on the same shows, and it's like, oh, the guy books his friends.
Yeah.
You know, and that feels more like a clique. Whereas like it's different every time. You know, that's like everybody's looking out for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to do my part to maintain a healthy community, but you know, I also make it a point to like not take it personally.
Yeah.
Or it's just like I'm doing. It's just like, listen, you guys have fun over there. I bet you're all very funny. I'm sure you're gonna have a great show. And you know, just do what you're doing. It's okay.
Yeah, you just be cordial. Yeah.
And it does get frustrating when like those same people go to other open mics.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've seen your set 15 times. You've never seen my set because you always leave immediately.
Right.
And it's
you do your spot and you go.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then when we do finally meet, and they're just like, "Hi, what's your name?" And I'm just like, I know your name and where you're from. And
I brought you up last week, dude.
Yeah,
I called you. I had to look at your name and make sure I was pronouncing it right.
Yeah,
like, I know your face.
I don't do it to shame them, but I always make it a point to be like, yeah, we've done a few shows together, and they're like, oh yeah, I think I recognize you, and I'm like, well, maybe you do. I don't know. It's like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not putting out a look that's I wouldn't say a dime a dozen, but it's just like a husky guy with big beard that talks about fucking ranch dressing or whatever.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But you know, I'm doing my best.
There's a lot of people that would remember me from a show, and I honestly fucking wouldn't. But I stick out pretty hard, and I'm a little face blind at first.
Sure.
And someone's like, "Oh, I've seen you before." And I'm like, "Oh God!" And I fucking lie. I lie to myself and I lie to them, and I go, "It's good to see you again." And then I just fucking wait, Drew, until they say their name, and then I remember their name. It's like a fucking game up here, dude. And I'm like, So how have you been? How is it up? Just being completely like without saying the name, and then once I hear someone say it, I'm like, okay, got it. And I honestly fucking forget, and I feel like an asshole.
I'm pretty good at like finding the information once I get enough context clues. Like, yeah, that's happened to me on a few occasions where they're just like, "Hey, it's great to be back," and I'm like, yeah, so you've been here before?" And they're like, "Yeah, I did." And then like they'll give one or two clues, and I'm just like, "That's right, Marissa, you were here that night that the dog was here. Okay, cool, welcome back. It's great to have you." But there's always like this moment of like you are.
It's happening more now because now that I'm hosting shows, and I'm seeing way more different faces now. Because now I'm hosting at Flappers, like they're putting me on the showcases now, which is like a step out,
Congrats.
A step up, and now it's like, oh fuck, more faces. Oh Jesus, now I'm gonna judge this one person on their first 5 minutes. Is it good? You know, and now it's like, oh, maybe I will catch him on an off night, but I can't think that that I have to take everything at neutrality, like face value. I'm Switzerland. You know,
yeah, man.
I want to believe that everyone can do their best, and I also believe that everyone can do their absolute fucking worst, or just not be burnt out. You ever do a set and you're like tired, and you're burnt out, and you're like, oh, this is not why am I here?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, all the time you have to recognize that. That's
and I paid $5. Jesus fuck, why?
Yeah, yeah. You know, you gotta read yourself and recognize when it's counterproductive to be forcing yourself out there. You know?
I did 4 sets the other night.
I saw that, man.
Why?
Where'd you get up at?
I went up twice at Flashback, which it's just like Fourth Wall if you've ever been there.
Oh, I love Flashback. I go there pretty.
You go Flashback, the one on.
I live quite close.
You live really close to that one? Yeah. That's a hop and a skip down that way. I come there once in a while when I'm available. I'll hit it twice.
I love to get two in.
Yeah, Dante's the fucking shit. He's the greatest. Not to like fucking pander or whatever, but he's another dude in the community that reaches out.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I hit Flashback twice, and then I went to Third Wheel twice for their themed stuff, which is like good. Have you been to Third Wheel before?
I've been going a lot more recently, just because I figured out where I can park.
Yeah.
But I've done it a bunch of times over the last year or two. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did last week. I think we might have done the same themed shows in different weeks. It was
possibly.
What do they do on Mondays? You do Jenga, crowd work, leg room.
I did that one for the first time. Yeah.
The crowd work, Mike, is a lot of fun. Did you do crowd work? Or
I did do that one, but man, it's not my strong suit, and that's why I needed to go. I needed to go because I'm like, I'm hosting shit now. Oh God, what if I have to stall for time because the fucking headliner's late? I need to be able to have that like ability in my back pocket, right? Because you're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Where I'm just like, I'm gonna do my jokes.
Yeah, you gotta be able to do that. It's an important tool. Like, you don't want to lean on it too heavily, but you gotta have all the tools.
Yeah,
you gotta have the utility belt.
One of the rules at that mic was you can't do crowd work and then lead into material because it's kind of like a cheat sheet.
Material.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, that's hard because I can start it, but as soon as someone has like a job or like something I have like one minute bit about something, some kind of inkling, and it can click in my head, I'm going to rely on that because I know it. But it's the sake of improv where you don't know where it's going to go. And that's where I get scared. Very scared. Another sneeze.
That was a burp, actually.
That was a burp?
Quietly.
Oh, you should have fucking just...
Should I have retched it out? If I feel another one, I'll bang one out. I'll bang it out for you. Absolutely.
You can't do it on command?
Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Boom.
Hold on, I gotta stand up.
Yeah. He's got to charge his attack. Nice.
I can do better. Like, when I really expand my diaphragm and get like the air deep in there, I can fucking rock it. But I mentioned I was hungover this morning, so I don't want to.
Speaking of hungover, I want to close with an idea that I'd like to pitch to you.
Oh, sure.
Just to see if it just blueprint idea. Nothing to invest in, nothing at all. What do you think of a 6 a.m. hair of the dog mic at like
6 a.m.?
6 a.m.
That's so early. Where would this be?
I don't know, but I had Ryan Talmo and he told me about a couple of places that do open that early, depending on like a given night. It wouldn't be like a weekly thing. It would be like a once in a blue moon, like if it's Springbok in Van Nuys and it's rugby season, they will open at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, because that's how
the
games play.
The games are playing in fucking South Africa or wherever the fuck, like 12 hours ahead. So they'll open stupid early, and there will be people there watching rugby, and there could be like a little in between time where like at least a before noon, like an early mic, where we all just show up either hungover in our pajamas. The girls could just not put makeup on, just look like fucking garbage. The ladies might not take that idea.
But like really lead into that.
Yeah, but really lead into the I'm tired, I woke up like this, like, oh god.
Yeah, it's like, just go on, we're gonna have coffee, guys.
And you buy like a coffee or something. That's like your payment or whatever. Make it slotted. And do.
Have you done? There is a morning mic on Saturdays. Have you done, or do you know of it?
No. Where?
It's right up the street from Brews Brothers. It's at It's like a performance space for bands. It's called AMP. They have a bunch of like rehearsal rooms.
I've been there. Yeah.
But on Saturday mornings, it's on Instagram. It's called It's Just Comedy or something of that nature.
How early?
The first one is at 11 a.m.
Ah, okay.
Which isn't that early.
It's not that early, but
they used to do just 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. But now they have like a 1 p.m. and a 2 p.m. where they do like 10-minute slots and like 20-minute slots.
On Saturdays.
Saturdays.
And when you're performing in front of other people waiting their turn. I imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that
it's the practice.
There's something about the morning crew of people that it's just like they're a little more. How do you say? Like, no, we're comedians. We're here to do it.
Yeah.
They're like casuals or first timers won't come to the.
Yeah, this isn't for the faint of heart. Yeah, no, I really like that idea. Send me info on that.
I'll send you that, Scott and Michael.
That's a good idea. I want to do that.
They're both pretty heavily associated.
Did you say 20 minutes?
Yeah, you can sign up for 20 minutes.
Fuck. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah, I haven't had the nerve to do a 20 minute spot. The most I've done there is like 15.
Oh, because I have 30, but I just haven't been able to. I haven't been able to smush it together and like really work on it. Yeah, because you can't work on longer stuff in these like 5-minute, 10-minute increments. You have to like split up and all that. And I want to be able to do that because eventually the next step is like a feature act where you need a half hour. And I need to be able to practice that at the level I'm at. I can't do that in front of a crowd right now. Oh, I'm still a baby, Drew. I'm still a fucking baby. 4 years. I'm a senior year. I'll graduate and go to college, and then it's like, then it's 4 more years of that, and then it's like, okay, are we going for the master's degree now? All right, 4 more years, 12. Oof. Are you a comic? You put on your own show. You're a fucking comic, dude.
Yeah.
I respect that. Like, that's, if you're not doing your own shit, are you even doing comedy?
Sure, I get that.
Yeah. Are you even doing it?
Yeah, LA Comedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my buddy Ben, who I run my other show with, shout out Ben at Diet Comedy.
Ben Rickson?
Yeah. He's awesome. He's very funny. He's like kind of like an open mic comedy sage.
An open mic comedy sage.
I mean that in the most respectful way
possible. Yeah. He has philosophical unwritten rules.
Yeah. Not just open mics, like comedy in general.
I get you.
He's been in the game for a while.
Yeah.
But what did I bring him up? What were we saying?
That you were doing a show with him.
That's right. But
Splendid.
I was gonna say something that he said before. How did we get into this?
Like, if you're not doing your own shit, are you even doing comedy?
He goes through a lot of like seminars and stuff. Just out of curiosity, you never know when you're gonna learn something.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah.
And then the person running it was like, raise your hand if you run a show, and like literally everyone in the room raised their hand, and it's kind of like, okay, so. No shortage of stage time. Here are all your peers who all run shows. And also, don't feel so precious about your show because look at all these other shows that are happening in town. It's fine. You're going to be okay. Work
with each other. Trade spots. That whole... Yeah. There's like handshakes and currencies and all that stuff. Like, I get that. And I have that spot in my brain where I get 1 or 2 guys where I'm like, oh, he books a show. And I haven't done his show yet. Oh, maybe he'll... Maybe he'll return the favor. Maybe he won't. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But the ulterior motive in my head was like, if I get this guy, maybe he can put me on the...
Yeah, I mean, it's a way of showing... And like maybe they just never had an opportunity to see you.
Yeah.
So you invite them on your show. They see you perform. They see the quality of show you run. Mm-hmm. They have an opinion of you now.
Right.
Like, oh, this person is funny. I'd love to have him on my show. Or
yeah.
It's not just like strictly favors. It's,
right.
It's community building.
Of course.
That's what I tell myself with.
Yeah, that's another very important part of it, and these are the feelings that you got to separate between the two. Like, oh, am is this person my friend because I need something from them?
Yeah.
Or is this person my friend and I would like to spend time with this friend and I want to go do the same shows with this friend? Because that's always fun, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
You want to book your friends, of course, but not like all the time.
I get
because that's when it gets clicky, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when it gets clicky, it's like you're booking the same people again. All right.
Yeah, that's tough. But dude, I get stoked when I see like lineups that I happen to be on that I don't know the rest. Like I'm doing a fourth wall this Saturday.
Fourth Wall Fire.
Yeah, this Saturday the 14th. And like you don't know who else is going to be in the lineup until Joe posts it, and I looked and I'm like, yo, this is stacked.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, and like I get excited about the lineup. And
yeah, and you got that whole upstairs area where you can hang up there.
Yeah,
I like that spot.
The faux green room. Yeah.
Yeah, the faux green. I like it. I set up my camera up there. I'm like,
Oh,
I
awesome.
can get a fucking angle from down there.
Yeah, I'm
like,
sorry, I didn't mean to be dismissive of it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Hey, a green room's a green room. I'll go do a mic at a laundromat if it starts on time.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
What is this? The fucking. God damn. Oh no, name drop. We're definitely bleeping that one. Fucker's a lawyer. You know, he'll find any reason. Any reason.
Is that the truth? That's his day job? Is he...
Yeah, he's an attorney. So, like, I figure, like, if there's any sort of form of slander, that any inkling that because he's always, I figure that anybody's always watching. Like, I'm just gonna, like, because I openly talk shit about that spot, but just for my own sanity, you know.
Yeah, you gotta.
Because I said the name.
True to yourself.
I said the name. Now I'm gonna go into post and fucking go, bleh, you know.
Sure. Well, yeah. You gotta be true to yourself.
Yeah, just out of my own fucking safety, you know, because he's a lawyer and he'll fucking sue my ass for anything. Drew Fahey, where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. My Instagram's pretty much where I post everything at Drew J Fahey.
It's going to be in the description!
In the description below, and I'll send you flyers and stuff. I run 2 shows. We've talked about Bare Knuckles.
Bare Knuckles comedy.
I do that every week. It's every Thursday. Brews Brothers Craft Beer. List goes out at 7. Show starts 7:30. Open mic / featured acts. It's
come through.
Been fortunate. But my other show, which is also very fun, Splendid, which is at Muddy Paw Coffee in Silver Lake.
Yes.
$5 entry, 100% of proceeds go to cat rescue benefit Lux Paws.
Nice.
So, that's the first Friday of every month.
So, is it always kitties?
It is cats.
It's always going to be that charity?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the arrangement we
Dedication.
have with the venue.
Dedication.
And Muddy Paw Coffee's fun, and like the coffee's delicious, and they stay open late for us. And my girlfriend makes all of the flyer art. So definitely check it out. It's all awesome, and she's awesome too. At Thought Cobell on Instagram.
I'll put that in there too.
Yeah. And then my buddy Ben, who I run Splendid with. That's a really fun. Like I can't stress enough how fun that show is. We get really good acts. We had who was on this last show that was really good? Andrew Johnston is really funny. Who else was on this last show? It was a really good show. We post the lineups on Instagram, so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
And then Bare Knuckles I run with my friend Sean Dolan. Shawnee Maestro.
Yeah, he was at Flashback the other day. He's like, hey, what's up, dude? And I'm like, what's up, Kenny? I'm like, I called him Kenny. I'm like, god damn it.
Could be Kenny.
You know, it was the orange beanie. That's why I thought of Kenny from South Park. I'm like, fuck, I'm such an idiot. I didn't say his goddamn name right. Like, I was like, oh, god damn it. I feel like such an ass. But I get it in my head
chill.
like that.
He probably doesn't even care. He probably just laughed it off.
Oh, good. All right, well that's excellent. So this will be out when either before, because I'm going to do the 420 episode and rush that with Demon.
Sure, I get that.
And then this one's going to be out a couple weeks in advance. So at least your thing's weekly. So I'll be able to you'll be able to have this.
Oh, absolutely.
And promote it every fucking week. I'll send you the file.
Oh, I'd love
all
it,
that shit. Yeah, I've got it all fucking.
Appreciate it.
It's all going to be gassed up for you.
It's been an honor, pleasure. I had a great time here.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm sure that when I go back and listen or watch it, I'm going to see some loose ends that didn't get tied up. It's like, yes, I have been to the Renaissance Fair in my hometown.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And I threw axes and tomatoes at people.
Ooh, that's funny as fuck.
And I think that was the only one that I remembered that I didn't get to revisit.
Oh shit!
But otherwise we're good. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, that's been Andrew Fahey. I'm Jake Bassey. This is the Jake Off Show. Follow us. Okay, thanks. Die.